video, we're going to do a mat Pilates Foundations class. So this is really great if you're new to the studio or if you're just trying to check back in with your form, those nice foundations that will take you throughout any video here on the platform. We're going to start lying on our back. Your feet will go hip distance apart and your knees are bent. First thing we're going to talk about is our neutral spine. So lying here on the mat, notice how your spine lies when you're flat down. Your crown, top, back part of your head should be reaching long towards the opposite side of the room. So your chin might be down a little bit further than it naturally will be. Working down the body, I want you to notice that your collarbone, it's nice and wide. Your shoulders, they're drawing down your spine. Your front ribs are closed, your core is engaged. You're drawing the navel towards the spine, so much so that you feel this internal core set start to wrap, start to turn on. Really notice your low back. Ideally, you have a small arch in the low back. You may want to press the back into the mat when you're lying here. We'll get to that soon, so don't worry. I want you to notice your hips and your pubic bone. You can create a little triangle shape with your hands here, thumbs together, pointer fingers together, and notice that your hip bones and your pubic bone are level, parallel to the floor, creating this shelf. What that's going to do is really just support your pelvis and create an ideal working environment so that your low back doesn't get irritated and your core can really stay nice and stacked, nice and active. Now, nothing with the legs here yet. We'll talk about those in a bit. We're going to take it into some Pilates breathing. If you'd like to, you're going to put your thumbs behind your rib cage and your fingertips up on top of your ribs. I want you to breathe in through the nose as deep as you possibly can. Notice how you created pressure into your fingers and your thumbs. Your ribcage should expand to all sides. As you exhale, you're going to blow it out through pursed lips like you're whistling. Blow out as much air as you possibly can until you feel that waist start to shrink. You're knitting the front fingertips towards one another. So as you inhale, I want you to think about pressing the back of your ribs into your thumbs. It's going to allow you to take in as much breath as possible and get into that lowest lobe of the lungs. As you exhale, you'll knit the front fingers towards one another. Feel the core connect. Inhaling through the nose, high and wide to fill up. And then exhaling through the mouth. That diaphragmatic breathing is really just going to help engage the core. We'll do 2 more like this. And then after that last one, your goal is going to be to continue that breath throughout class. I'll constantly remind you. We're going to take this into what's called a pelvic rock. Taking an inhale through the nose to fill up. On the exhale, I want you to try to button the back of your belly button down to the mat behind you. Notice how your tailbone has tucked under. Your hips, they've moved closer to your ribs, and you're forcing your oblique muscles to engage. Hold this position. Notice if your glutes are trying to squeeze to get you into this imprint of the spine. You want to stay relaxed in the glutes, the hamstrings, as well as the neck and shoulders. So the stress muscles that like to turn on and really get tense, try to relax those as much as you can. We're going to move through these 2 positions. On the inhale, arch the low back. You're coming back to that neutral spine. On the exhale, tuck the tailbone under. Imprint the spine into the mat behind you like you're pressing into sand. Inhaling to arch, exhaling to curl. What I want you to notice in this pelvic rock position, it's very small, but it's a very great way to warm up the core. You have this hammock of muscles from hip to hip. It's your pelvic floor. Engaging those is really going to help find more support for your spine. The transverse abdominis, your deepest layers of your core, are connected there. Breathing in and out. We'll do 2 more here. Now, the next time you're in that imprint shape, I want you to hold. Now, instead of keeping the glutes relaxed, turn them on. Squeeze the seat towards one another. I want you to feel the sensation between the glutes and the backs of your thighs, your hamstrings. So I want you to try to connect to to that small set of muscles there underneath the seat. We're going to pick this up into a Pilates bridge. One bone at a time of your spine will leave the mat like you're peeling Velcro up and away. So make sure your glutes, they're on, they're active to support you here. Start to lift the tailbone as if a string is pulling you up towards the sky. You're going to lift the low back, keeping the shoulders down, chest open and relaxed. Start to lift the mid back. You're going to reach the knees towards the opposite side of the room as the lowest part of your ribs lift. Once you're in a long diagonal line, I want you to look out in front of you towards the knees so your neck stays long. Press into your triceps. Feel how that ignites the back half of your body even more. Now remember, your core is still on. You're always drawing the navel towards the spine for support. This is what's called a rolling or articulating bridge. We're going to come down in the exact opposite way that we came up. So you're putting that Velcro back, starting with the heart. Keep your glutes on here. Engage through the seat as you melt the low back down. Once your tailbone hits, that's your cue to release your glutes. Come back to that nice neutral spine. We'll do one more of those before we switch bridges. Come into your imprint when you're ready. Turn on your seat first, then start to peel away. Those hips are lifting high towards the sky. The back half of your body is strengthening here. The front half of your body is lengthening. This is amazing for your posture. Also helps with blood flow circulation. Take an inhale at the top, and then exhale, start to melt it down. Start with the heart. See if you can create more space between each and every vertebra as you lower down. Nice and slow with control. Once that tailbone hits, relax back to your neutral spine. Beautiful, great work. You should already start to feel warm in those glutes and the backs of the thighs. We're going to take what's called a neutral or a hinge bridge this time. Instead of curling the spine, I'm going to keep my spine absolutely flat. Think like a drawbridge opening and closing. Your end goal is the same bridge. You're just getting up and down differently. This is more of a strengthening exercise for your back as opposed to the previous, which was more of a stretch. Big inhale through the nose. Remember to fill out. Exhale through those pursed lips. Glutes turn on, backs of the thighs turn on. Imagine two strings from your hip bones pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Elevate the hips here using the strength in the glutes. Keep the spine still steady in neutral. Squeeze a little higher at the top. Find that nice long diagonal line here in your bridge. Now start to lower down, keeping the spine straight, more challenging. Keep those glutes on as you sink down. Nice and slow with control. Once that booty taps, go ahead and relax back into the mat. We're going to add on to our last bridge here. Big inhale, fill up. On the exhale, turn on the back half of the body. Elevate those hips with control. Once you're there at the top, I want you to notice how your hips are level with one another right now. We're going to take an exercise called a march to see if we can keep those hips level. Big inhale. On the exhale, you're going to start to lift the right foot off of the mat, lifting it into what's called tabletop. Your knees right over your hip, your shin, it's about parallel to the ground, as if you were taking a march. Notice all the strength in your left supporting side. You really have to work on that foot pressing down into the mat. Lower the right leg with control, placing the toe down instead of just slamming into the ground. You'll lift the left foot. See if you can do the same thing. Keep those hips nice and level. You might notice one side is a whole lot stronger than the other side, and it might feel easier on one side versus the other. We'll start to move a little bit quicker with the breath. It's an exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. You're alternating sides here as you take this march. Keep on breathing for me. Keep the core strong. Remember the posture muscles always opening up across the chest. We'll do 2 more on each side like this. After that last one on each side, even yourself out. Both feet press into the ground. Lift the hips 1 inch higher if you have it in you. And then slowly start to come back down. Remembering to keep that neutral spine. Feeling the glutes engaged until that last second. Beautiful work. Go ahead and relax into the mat. For our next exercise, it's called toe taps. It's similar to what we just did, but I want you to find an imprint shape of the spine this time. So really draw the back of that belly button down, button it into the mat behind you. Once you're here, lift the right leg into tabletop, just like we did in that bridge, but this time your hips stay down. Once you're there in tabletop, find support. Can the left leg meet the right leg? Both of your legs are in this tabletop position. Zip the inner thighs together. It'll give you more support for the low back. Now your march this time in toe taps, legs move the opposite direction than they did previously in that bridge. So you'll drop the right toe down towards the mat. Once the toe taps, draw it right back into tabletop with control. It's an exhale to lower down this time. It's an inhale to pick it back up. Exhaling to lower down, inhaling to pick it back up. So opposite breath and opposite move. Now try to keep your toe floating off the mat if you can this time as you move through the exercise. Really notice your obliques engage. So it's the opposite side of your abdominals that have to support the thigh moving away from you. Be conscious that you're hinging from the thighs and not just dropping the lower half of your leg. So this is about the abdominals. It's not about the legs. 2 more on each side. You got this. And then 1 more on each side. Keep on breathing for me. Find tabletop here at the top. Glue those inner thighs together. You're going to open your arms out wide towards the sides. Give yourself surface area as you press into the hands. We're doing what's called a spine twist. Big inhale. On the exhale, both knees drop over to the right. Try to keep your inner thighs glued together. Crown of your head, it's going to move over the left shoulder. Both of your shoulders stay down as much as they can here. We're bringing out the spine into taking an inhale to open up across the rib cage. Exhale, draw those knees right back up through center. Inhaling to prepare to move to the other side. And then exhaling to take that nice twist. Really release across the obliques, across the core here. Gonna do some work there next. Taking an inhale to find space. Exhaling to come back through center. Once you're here at center, you're just going to drop the feet down onto the mat. Knees are separated hip distance apart. You'll bring your hands right back by your sides. And we're going to take a tiny move. It's our head nod. You're firmly pressing into the tailbone, creating that nice neutral pelvis, drawing the core in through center, and opening up across the chest. It's a neutral spine here again. Just like our pelvic rock, it's a small exercise. Taking an inhale to prepare. On the exhale, I want you to imagine you're grabbing an apple between your chin and your chest without the back of the head lifting off the mat. So notice the length in the neck, the back of the spine, the vertebra, really reaching here. On the inhale, you're just going to look right back up towards the sky. On the exhale, grab that apple between the chin and the chest. And then on the inhale, you'll look back up. Now, if you're in that nice neutral and your core is engaged, you should be able to move through these 2 positions with ease. You shouldn't feel like you're gripping on anywhere to create this sensation. It allows your body to move more freely, your extremities to move more freely on your torso. We'll do 1 more like this, and then we'll look right back up towards the sky. Good. Going to float your fingers 2 inches up off the mat. Arms are reaching towards the opposite side of the room, towards those heels. On the inhale, I want you to shrug your shoulders up like you're saying, I don't know. They're going all the way into the ears, shoulder elevation. On the exhale, you're going to reach the fingertips as long as you possibly can towards the other side of the room. Notice your shoulders driving into your back pockets. You haven't lost that neutral spine. Inhaling to shrug those shoulders up. Exhaling to move them down the back. Now keep on moving here. What I want you to notice is that the shoulder blades are gliding along the back of your torso, your rib cage. You don't want to feel like you're forcing anything here. Make it smaller if you need to. Next time the shoulders are down, you're putting them in the back pockets. You're going to hold. You're reaching the fingertips long towards the opposite side of the room, drawing the navel in that neutral spine. Go ahead and take that head nod, pause. Big inhale to fill up. We're coming into our ab curl. Exhale, keep that head nod. Start to lift the head off the mat. Then the neck.
Then the shoulders reach, reach, reach. I want you to take a peek at your neutral pelvis. Your hips, your pubic bone, they're level with one another. You're going to start to lower down. Start with the shoulders, then the neck. I'm still in that head nod till the last second. I look up towards the sky. We'll move a little bit quicker. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, start to curl it up, reach. Inhale, lower down with control. Exhale, curl it up, reach. Inhale to lower down. Notice that your ribs are connecting towards your hips this time instead of the hips connecting towards the ribs. Just like you're articulating or you're rolling bridge, we're moving one bone at a time. Now your shoulders are down, so your neck should be relaxed. But if you ever feel too much tension in the neck here, feel free to bring one or both hands behind the neck. Just make sure to keep your elbows out wide. 2 more like this. Reach, lower down. Last one, lift it up. Can you hold it there? You've got it in you. We're here for 4, for 3, for 2. Lower back down with control. Beautiful. Extend both legs out long. You're going to reach the arms straight up towards the ceiling. Turn the palms to face towards one another. What I want you to do here is imagine a puppeteer has the tips of your fingertips. He's pulling them all the way up towards the sky. Your arms stay long. Notice how your shoulder blades have moved apart from one another behind you, or what's called protraction, reaching as long as you possibly can. Take an inhale. Open the arms out wide towards the side. Think like a cross shape. Your shoulder blades are moving towards one another. Imagine you're pinching a pencil between them. It's retraction. Reach long. Exhale up towards the sky. Inhale, open up nice and wide. Exhale, reach up towards the sky. Inhale, open wide. Keep moving here. Keep muscle tension and engagement throughout every ounce of your fingertips. All the way out those pinkies towards the ceiling, towards the opposite sides of the room. You're going to feel your chest start to work here. Pecs are engaged. 2 more just like this. Always maintaining that nice neutral spine. And then after that last one, you're just going to hug the knees in towards the chest and take a teeny rock side to side, releasing any tension across the core, across your center. When you're ready, we're going to roll over onto our belly, get some extension of our spine. So a lot of us do Pilates to combat our posture. We might sit at a desk or drive very often. This is just what's going to help us work against that and stand up nice and tall. Once you're here on your belly, your feet, they're wide, they're turned out. Your fingertips, they're right underneath your shoulders. I want you to find imprint here. More challenging. Tuck the tailbone under slightly. Draw the belly button all the way up towards the spine. On the inhale, reach the head longer towards the opposite side of the room. Exhale, start to peel up. You're going to look up in front of you as you lift the head, neck, chest up off the mat. Make it as small or as large as you need to, and then lower down. Start with the belly button, chest, neck, then head. We're always moving that one bone at a time here. Creating flexibility in the spine was very important for Joseph Pilates. We're strengthening the back half of our body in this exercise. We're going to do one more like this. Peel it up. Hold your lifted swan shape. You're going to look over the right shoulder, release any tension in the neck. Look over the left shoulder, come back to center, and melt it all the way down. Beautiful. You're going to tuck the toes under and just make your way into a kneeling position. Sit the hips all the way back onto your heels. Reach the fingertips long towards the front edge of your neck. It's a shell stretch here. I'm going to have you reach both hands towards the top right corner. Feel length from your left rib to your left hip. Now, as you inhale, I want you to imagine your ribs on the left side getting further apart from one another, stretching the intercostal muscles here, and then exhaling to come back through center. Same thing on the other side. Hands come over to the left. On that right side, your hip, your rib, they're getting further away from one another. Feeling this nice side bend stretch, creating space, hydration in your fascia. You'll come back through center. Take one more inhale.
On the exhale, you're going to start to roll up one bone at a time. Start with your tailbone, low back, just like that bridge, mid-back. Finally, shoulders, neck, head, come up. Great work. Those were our foundations. Always come back to this video if you feel like you need a little bit of a check-in with your body. Can't wait to see you back at Peachy Pilates soon.